Welcome, Truth Awakening. You subscribe to the truth, one within the universe, and universe is inside me. Greetings, earthlings, and my loved ones. It would be an honor if y'all would join me. I have a question, and this goes out to some of you confused earthlings. Do you actually think that some of the artists that y'all worship, that y'all look up to, and some of y'all probably would bend over with a smile if they tell you to, do you actually think that's their voice? I don't think so. I think it's another being behind the scenes. Excuse me. And they set up certain images, certain looks, you know, to control your DNA. Some of them are basically puppets. And just like the politicians and these world leaders, that's not their real actual voice. There's somebody behind the scenes. On some of them, I'm not going to say all of them, but some of them, you just got to listen to the voice. And basically, when certain artists give interviews, they basically sound different. And then if you hear them live on stage, they sound totally different. They sound horrible. When they live on stage. Some of them, of course, we all know for decades they've been having writers. And certain writers know what words to put out there and use hypnotic spells and have them saying certain things that y'all don't understand and overstand. And behind the scenes, that's what's going on. Especially with the voice. The voice is the most powerful thing. The voice can control certain things out there. Just like, for example, I know I'm getting off subject a little bit. A voice, like that's the reason why they use certain females when it came to phone sex. Because people would get off. You could actually talk to somebody over the phone and they would get off on their voice. So the voice is basically the most powerful thing out there. And I'm just using that for example. The voice could control a person's frequency. A voice could control a person's mind. A voice can do many things, and I'm going to have to definitely do a video on that. But you remember back in the day, Milli Vanilli, and it was basically somebody else. CNC Factory. They, like I said, they go by images. It was a heavy set woman actually singing, and she sounded great. But they wanted that image so y'all could imitate, get all of, the six packs and have females looking a certain way, controlling y'all's frequency, putting that out there. And that basically came out because they had, a nice looking young melanated woman on CNC Factory. I think I said that right, the name. But, they had her out there basically, acting like she was singing. And this with LL Cool J doing it well. You remember that song? I talked about this like a long time ago. I touched on it a little bit. Basically, that's what's going on. I think some of these artists out here, these new artists, that's not really them. That's not really their voice. That's them out being a puppet, and behind the scenes. Like, this is my personal opinion, and I know some people will probably get mad. I don't, whatever. If you get mad, get into your feelings, that's basically on you. I think Madonna is a man. This is my opinion. I think Pink is a man. And I basically think it's another voice behind the scenes, and that's just my personal opinion, and like certain other artists, the new artists, that girly looking boy Justin Bieber. I think he's a female. And I think it's somebody else actually, behind the scenes with that. That's just my personal opinion. And The Weeknd. It's certain artists, y'all got to pay attention to certain things and how they act and how they watch live. This goes out for you earthlings that worship these celebrities, because you're actually probably really worshiping. You're actually really worshiping another voice. They just out there doing certain things to control your frequency. The other being's voice basically being used, and they're using that voice to control your DNA and the images and certain things. Y'all a bunch of followers. Y'all look up to that. Y'all actually think that that's them. And this been going on for decades. I can get really deep. I could really go there. Like in behind the scenes, it's a bunch of mess that y'all don't know about. And and I put that out there. And I know some of y'all probably gonna get mad, just like some of these rappers out here. It's basically, and that's just my opinion. I think that somebody behind the curtains, while they out on stage, you get what I'm saying? They basically behind the stage doing their thing, and got the artists that they pay millions of dollars to control your frequency. With these corporations and different other beings, other creatures. They basically got another being behind the scenes. That's something to think about. Y'all should think about that. Some of these artists, they're fictional. They're cartoon characters. They're basically like one of y'all favorite cartoon characters. I'm using this for example. When they do the voiceovers for the cartoon characters, that's basically what's going on. And they kind of slid that in there. Back in the day when I was talking about Milli Vanilli. They was basically letting y'all know. They do certain things to see if y'all catch on. And some of y'all don't catch on. They want to see if some of y'all earthlings basically still under a hypnotic spell. You get what I'm saying? They want to see if they still controlling things. And some of you earthlings, they're controlling your minds. They're controlling your frequency. They're controlling your soul and your energy on so many different levels. That's the reason why some of this stuff, majority of the stuff basically went digital. As they transformed from the records, to the 8-tracks, and then cassette tapes, and then CDs, and now it's basically on the internet. And that's the reason why they put that out there. So some of the artists that y'all really think that's their voice, you better think again, because it's not their voice. They don't write their own music. And half of them, you might got one or two that actually probably write their own music and sing. And that Prince was one of them. Prince basically could write, sing, play any instruments. I got much respect. That's the only artist that, I could say this actually was a really, true artist back in the 80s, 70s, 80s. The some of the singers or rappers that's out right now, y'all think that's art? It's nothing but recycling each other's energy and controlling y'all's energy, because they can't even control their self. They have to be told what to say and what to do and how to do it. All right? So, y'all out here thinking that's really them. And it's not. So this been basically going on for decades. The music don't, that They don't have talent at all. None of them. Your favorite artist, Chris Brown, Beyonce, and Kanye, Jay-Z. Kanye cry about he the best and all of that stuff, and other artists. I can go on, that dude Sam. They have all right voices, but some of these other artists that y'all look up to, do y'all actually really think that's their voice? You don't know if that's if that's their voice behind the scenes. There's certain images that they put out there. Maybe a couple of them, yeah, that's their real voice. They don't have no talent. They can't play no instrument. They don't write their own songs. So to me, that's not talent. They got y'all thinking it's talent, but it's really not talent. It's not talent at all because like I said, they don't produce nothing. They're being controlled by these corporations and the negative supernatural and the creatures. So I know some of y'all probably gonna get upset because y'all into these different things that they put out there, certain celebrities, that y'all go back and forth debating, arguing, taking up for them, especially you younglings. You go out there and imitate and basically casting spells. When you share or sing certain songs that you don't know the meaning of, and when you do other things, like I could go on about this. I could really go on about this, but that's something to really think about. What? Did somebody say something?